Primary season is teaching us a lot about Donald Trump and his grip on the Republican Party. Signs of his influence are everywhere. But GOP voters are also sending an important message. The New York Times today puts it this way: primaries show limits and depths of Trump's power over GOP base. In that article, the Times' Michael Bender and Maggie Haberman write this: Mr. Trump increasingly appears to be chasing his supporters as much as marshaling them. Some have come to see the president they elected to lead an insurgency as an establishment figure inside his own movement. Maggie Haberman now joins us live. Maggie, that's incredibly well put, in that there's no question Donald Trump is still the most dominant force in the Republican Party, but some of his own voters are sending him a message.
That's right. Look, John, we have seen since last year that Donald Trump's base is moving away from him in certain respects. We saw it related to the vaccines, the coronavirus vaccines that Donald Trump championed, that he wanted to see created while he was president. A lot of his base does not favor that. You have people like Steve Bannon, Trump's former advisor.
Hey guys, Dr. John here. So what's going on? Trump, despite winning a second term and controlling the executive branch, is now on the verge of being removed, not by Democrats, but by his own Republican Party. 12 GOP senators have already signaled they'll vote to convict, and only 5 more are needed to reach the magic number of 17. They're not doing this out of principle or conscience.
Who is able to channel that energy and is, against the vaccines. You're seeing signs everywhere that while Donald Trump is still the most prominent figure in the Republican Party, he is not necessarily able to translate that into a directive to all of those voters as to what to do with their votes in other elections.
And so I'm just going to go through some of the endorsements he's had, and there is a pattern developing. Mm-hmm. If you look at his endorsement, he endorsed Mr. Herbster in Nebraska. He got 30%. He endorsed the lieutenant governor in Idaho. She lost the primary to the governor, 32%. Mastriano was an exception. J.D. Vance in Ohio, 32%. Dr. Oz, 31%. Madison Cawthorn, 32%.
They're doing it because Trump has become a political liability they can no longer afford. The man who demanded loyalty from everyone is now being abandoned by the very people he appointed and campaigned for. 5 votes stand between him and forced removal by his own party. Working-class Trump voters.
Bo Hines, 32%. You see the 30 number a lot. Now, we have a long way to go in the primary season. But you talk about this in the case of Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. Kathy Barnett, who said she was MAGA before Trump, got a decent slice of the vote in the mid-20s there. You write about it this way: these mini rebellions have tended to flare up wherever Mr. Trump's supporters view his directives or endorsements as not Trumpy enough. Do they think he's lost faith, or are they out ahead of him?
They're out ahead of him is the way I would put it, John. Look, I don't think they're losing faith in him, because if you look at these fields, we talk about the depth of support Michael Bender and I did in that story. These fields are all shades of Donald Trump. These candidates are all versions of Donald Trump. They pledge fealty to his ideas. They pledge fealty to his policies. Some of them pledge fealty to his lies about the 2020 election, but not all. In the case of Pennsylvania, Mehmet Oz has some issues that are problematic ideologically with the conservative base, on abortion, on a couple of other issues. So Trump can't necessarily paper over all of those issues in various primaries. I think that they are not. Look, when he was president, he had a different level of power over the party, and I think that has come as a surprise to him now that he is not.
The people who actually put him back in the White House are abandoning the Republican Party at a 20% rate. 20%. That is not a rounding error. That is not a statistical fluctuation. That is millions of voters looking at what is happening and saying, I am done. I cannot do this anymore. I am out. And when you start losing your own base like that, when the people who are supposed to be your strongest supporters start walking away, you lose everything.
It's a great way to put it. Kellyanne Conway, who of course worked with him in the campaign, then worked in the Trump White House, is quoted in your article as saying this: there's no obvious heir apparent when it comes to America First. It's still him. But people feel they can love him and intend to follow him into another presidential run and not agree with all of his choices this year, which makes perfect sense. It's hard to lead a big movement. You're going to have disagreement within a big movement. My question is more, will Trump adapt to this? Will he change in the context of, Donald Trump was once a Democrat. He said he was for gun control. He said he was totally pro-choice. Then he was going to run as an independent and try to take over the Ross Perot movement. Then he became a Republican. He has proved he can adapt to changing times. Does he see a need to adapt here? Or does he just think once he's back out there, if he gets out there and runs, everything will be fine?
I think it is too soon to say, John, where he sees this heading. As you said, he's adaptable. Usually what he waits to see is which way the crowd is going, and he follows them, not the other way around. He was constantly in fear of his base being to the right of him in the White House. I think there is clearly some of that now. I think what Kellyanne's point is not so much, will Donald Trump adapt? It's more, is anyone going to challenge him? And I just don't think we know yet what it looks like. Who gets into a primary? We don't know for sure that Donald Trump is running, although I have no reason to believe he's not, based on everything I've heard. And then does anyone come in who can play in his same lane, not just divide up the anti-Trump vote? And those are the open questions.
The party crumbles, the infrastructure collapses, the ground gives way beneath your feet. Local Republicans are fleeing too. City council members, precinct captains, grassroots organizers, people who have dedicated years, sometimes decades, to building the Republican Party are just quitting. The word going around is that they cannot stand what the party has become, that it is no longer recognizable to them, that something fundamental has broken. And when you lose your grassroots infrastructure, when the people on the ground who knock on doors and make phone calls and get out the vote abandon ship, that is when you know the situation is beyond recovery. Trump's approval rating is sitting at 36%. Let that sink in. 36%. That is underwater in every direction. That is catastrophic territory for any president, let alone one who is supposed to be running for re-election in a few years. And meanwhile, Trump is doing things that are making everything worse. He is posting aggressive statements about opening the Strait of Hormuz. He is threatening military action that is freaking everybody out. He is using language about civil war. He is ranting about revenge and retribution. It is all designed to fire up his hardcore base. But instead, it is driving moderate Republicans away. It is accelerating the exodus. It is making senators and congressmen think, this guy is not just unpopular. He is destabilizing. He is dangerous. We need him gone now. The Senate is watching all of this and thinking the same thing. This guy is a liability. He is going to tank the midterms. He is going to drag the entire party down into the political abyss. We need him gone now, not next year, not after the election, now. Let me take you inside the political calculation that is driving this, because it is the key to understanding everything that is about to happen. Republican senators have defended Trump for years. They have protected him. They have enabled him through controversy after controversy. They have looked the other way while he did things that would have destroyed any other politician. But now something has shifted. The political math has changed. These senators have run the numbers and concluded that they have better odds surviving the midterms without Trump than with him. Read that again, because it is the whole ball game. Republican senators believe their path to holding power is actually clearer if Trump is removed and the vice president takes over. That is the cold, calculated reality driving this entire crisis. And here is the thing that makes senators nervous in a completely different way. Early polling suggests that Vance actually plays better with swing voters than Trump does right now. Vance is younger, he is less chaotic, he does not have the same baggage. He polls higher than Trump in purple states. So for senators in competitive races, for senators who are looking at their own re-election numbers and seeing disaster, getting rid of Trump might actually be the politically smart move, the survival move. This is the kind of political moment where everything you thought was solid turns out to be quicksand. Trump came into his second term thinking he had total control of the GOP. He thought he had absolute power. He thought the party was his completely and totally. Instead, he is watching it crack apart in real time. And the people doing the cracking, the people stabbing him in the back, they are his own party. They are Republicans. They are people he appointed, people he campaigned for, people he thought were loyal. The DOJ is in chaos. The judicial system is hammering him with fines and contempt charges. And now the Senate is ready to take him out. Trump is simultaneously the most powerful person in the country and completely isolated. It is like watching a guy stand alone in a room while everyone else is moving toward the door. Let me back up for a second and explain how we got here, because this did not happen overnight. This is the result of months of Trump making one decision after another that alienated not just regular people, but his own allies, his own party. When Trump came back into office, he had full control of the Republican Party. The party was his. House, Senate, White House, all Trump loyalists, all people who had bent the knee and said they were ride or die for Trump. It was supposed to be unstoppable. A second-term victory lap where Trump could do whatever he wanted and nobody could touch him. He had the numbers, he had the party, he had the courts, everything was aligned. But Trump forgot something crucial. The Senate, any Senate, needs votes. It needs consensus. Even with a Republican majority, even as president, Trump still needs his own party to back him. And that only works if the party is not completely terrified that he is going to blow up their midterm chances. The crackup started when Trump's approval began tanking, and I mean tanking hard. We are not talking about a drop of 5 or 6 points. We are not talking about normal presidential decline. We are talking about a collapse down to 36%. When your approval is that low, when you are that unpopular, you stop being an asset and you become a liability. You become dead weight. Let me break down what this actually means in political terms. Republicans in swing states start running scared. They start thinking about their own re-election. They start calculating whether having Trump on the ballot actually helps them or hurts them. And the answer right now is clearly that he hurts them. All the polls show it. GOP unfavorables are sitting at 60% because Trump is dragging the whole party's brand down. So senators start having meetings, and they are saying things like, "We need an exit strategy." That is the phrase going around behind closed doors. That is what they are actually saying, not "How do we defend Trump?" Not "How do we stand with him?" They are saying, "How do we distance ourselves from Trump without looking disloyal? How do we save ourselves?" And then the impeachment happens. The House impeaches Trump on various charges. And suddenly Senate Republicans realize we have an off-ramp. We have a way out. We can vote to convict. We can remove Trump from office. And then we pivot to a vice presidency that polls better in swing districts. We can tell voters we held him accountable. This is where it gets cold and calculated. McConnell, who has been Trump's right hand for years, signals that he is open to conviction. Collins says she will vote for it. Murkowski signals the same thing. And then boom, you get a cascade. More senators pile on. 12 are now openly saying they will vote to convict. And suddenly Trump realizes, I might actually lose this. I might actually get removed. Because here is the math. You need 67 votes to convict in the Senate. Trump's party has the majority. So Republicans can protect him. They have the votes. But if 12 of them defect, and even 1 or 2 more defect, Trump does not have the math anymore. He is exposed. He is vulnerable. He is going to get removed from office. And that is terrifying to him. That is literally the worst nightmare scenario for Trump. He came back to the White House thinking he had absolute power, thinking he could do whatever he wanted, and now he is watching his own party line up to take it away from him. It is a complete reversal. So what does Trump do? Does he try to rehabilitate? Does he try to be presidential and calm things down and reach out to these senators? Of course not. That is not Trump. Trump doubles down. He makes it worse. He posts stuff on social media that is insane and inflammatory. He talks about the Iran Strait situation in language that is aggressive and chaotic and threatening. He uses words like civil war. He talks about taking down enemies, revenge, retribution, all the stuff that is already making him unpopular. And every single time he does this, every single post, every single rant, more people abandon the GOP. The working class voters who put him there are walking away at 20%. Local Republicans are quitting. Precinct captains are saying they cannot do this anymore. The party is bleeding out from the grassroots. It is a hemorrhage. And Senate Republicans are watching this and thinking, this guy's killing us. He is killing our chances in the midterms. We need him gone. Here is what most people do not understand about this situation. This is not about principles or conscience. This is not about Senate Republicans suddenly caring about democracy or rule of law or the Constitution. This is purely about survival, purely about political calculation. This is about senators in purple states saying, I need Trump gone if I am going to have a shot at re-election. It is about senators in red states saying, my base is abandoning Trump, so I need to show I am willing to stand up to him. It is about pure cold political math. And that is actually more terrifying for Trump than if this were about principles, because principles might waver. Calculation does not. When senators do the math and figure out that Trump is a liability, they are going to act. They are going to move. They are going to vote to convict. No negotiations will work. No promises will work. The calculation is made. The other thing accelerating this is the DOJ is in complete chaos. There are signals that key Trump allies are about to get arrested. The judicial system is hitting Trump with massive fines and contempt charges. Trump's world is collapsing on multiple fronts at the same time. And Senate Republicans look at that and think, we need to distance ourselves from this guy immediately. We cannot be associated with this chaos. It is like watching a building that is on fire, and the people inside are running for the exits as fast as they can because they know what is about to happen. Now let me talk about what triggered this acceleration, because it is not just about approval numbers declining slowly over time. It is about what happened when Trump's policies started getting serious and chaotic. The Iran Strait situation, the military posturing, the language about civil war, the talk about enemies and retribution. This is the stuff that made even loyal Republicans go, now we are scared, now we are genuinely concerned. Republican senators can handle a president being unpopular. They can weather that. They have done it before. What they cannot handle is a president who is unstable and chaotic, who is threatening military action, who is talking about removing his enemies from power. That is when you move from, we need to find a way to salvage this, to, we need to get him out of here right now. And the judicial stuff is making it worse. Trump is facing fines. He is facing contempt charges. The legal system is closing in on him. Senate Republicans are watching this and thinking, this guy is going to be in court for years after he leaves office. Do we really want to hang our political future on defending someone who is about to be engulfed in litigation? The answer is no. The answer is clear. We get him out. We let Vance take over. We reposition ourselves as the adults in the room. Here is the thing about base erosion that people do not fully appreciate. When you start losing 20% of your own voters, you are not just losing votes. You are losing legitimacy. You are losing the ability to claim you still have a mandate. You are losing the moral authority to demand loyalty from your party. In electoral politics, margins matter. A 20% defection rate among your own base is not a wobble. It is not a small statistical shift. It is a tsunami. It is the kind of number that makes senators say, this guy cannot carry us. He cannot drag us across the finish line. We are better off cutting him loose and trying to rebuild without his baggage. Add to that the fact that we are talking about working class voters, Trump's core demographic, the people who were supposed to be his firewall, his base of support, and you have got a crisis that is beyond recovery. Because if you are losing your core base, the voters who are most passionate about you, then you do not have anything left. You do not have the party. You do not have the people. You are just alone. McConnell and the Senate GOP leadership know this. They have internal polls showing it. They can see the numbers in real time. And they are looking at the midterms and thinking, if Trump is still president during the midterms, we are going to get absolutely demolished. Democrats are going to take the House back. They might take the Senate. We are going to lose everything we gained. But if we remove Trump before the midterms, if we put Vance in charge, maybe we can salvage this. Maybe we can tell swing voters, look, we held Trump accountable. We took him out. We put someone more normal in charge. Maybe that is enough to save our seats. That is the political math that is driving this. And it is why nothing Trump does at this point matters. No tweet, no rally, no executive order, no speech. The decision has been made at the leadership level. The Senate is moving toward conviction. The train is in motion, and Trump is just a passenger now. All he can do is watch. He has no leverage. He has no power. The math is against him, and it is only getting worse. Let me break down what this actually means and where we go from here, because understanding the mechanics of what is about to happen is crucial to understanding why this is so historically significant. Trump's path to acquittal does not exist anymore. The Senate math used to be something Trump could control. He had enough votes. The party had his back. But now, with 12 senators already signaling conviction and more likely to follow, he is probably going to lose. And when you lose an impeachment trial, when the Senate votes to convict you, you get removed from office. You are out. It is done. Think about what that means. A president removed by his own party. That has never happened before in American history. It is the nuclear option. It is the thing that supposedly could not happen because you would need the president's own party to turn on him. You would need that level of betrayal. You would need that level of political calculation. Well, that is happening right now. This is not some theoretical scenario. This is real. This is about to happen. And the reason it is happening is because the political calculation is so overwhelming. These are not ideological senators on some crusade for democracy. These are politicians who have done the math and figured out that Trump is worth more to them dead than alive. That conviction is worth more to their career than loyalty. That is ruthless. That is pure political calculation at its most cold and unforgiving. Vance becomes president. That is the practical reality. You remove Trump and Vance takes over. And here is the thing about that. It might actually be politically better for the GOP in the midterms. Vance polls better than Trump does right now. He does not have the same chaos energy. He is younger and cleaner and does not have the same baggage. For a lot of swing state voters who are exhausted by the Trump chaos, by the constant drama and the military threats and the social media rants, Vance might actually look like a breath of fresh air. So you have Senate Republicans thinking, if we remove Trump and put Vance in charge, we might actually survive the midterms. We might actually hold the House and Senate. But if we keep defending Trump, if we keep supporting him, we are going down. All of us. We are losing the chamber. We are losing our seats. We are going to be blamed for dragging the party into the abyss. That is the calculation. That is why it is happening. It is not about principle. It is not about what is right. It is about survival instinct. And Vance actually seems positioned to benefit from this. He gets to be the guy who steps in after chaos. He gets to be the stable alternative. He gets to run as the fresh start. In a weird way, Trump getting removed might be the best thing that could happen to Vance's political future. He becomes president on the back of a GOP revolt. He becomes a guy who can tell voters, I am not Trump. I am better than that. I can actually govern. The GOP base is fracturing. And this is huge because you cannot win elections without your base. Right now, 20% of Trump's voters are looking to abandon the GOP. 20%. That is not a small number. That is a significant chunk of your coalition just walking away. And it is not random people. It is working class voters. It is the people who were supposed to be Trump's firewall. It is the core demographic that came out for Trump because they believed he was different. He was an outsider. He would fight for them. He would actually change things. And now they are looking at what is happening, the chaos, the infighting, the judicial stuff, the DOJ mess. And they are saying, I am out. You also have local Republicans walking away. City council members, precinct captains, grassroots organizers, people who have dedicated years to the party are just quitting. And the phrase going around is that they cannot stand what the Republican Party has become, that it is no longer their party, that it has been taken over by something they do not recognize. Trump's approval is tanking because of his own behavior. And this is the part that is self-inflicted. The guy is posting insane stuff. He is talking about military action. He is threatening chaos. He is using language about civil war. That is not the kind of stuff that makes you more popular. That is the kind of stuff that makes you more unpopular. And when you are already at 36% approval, that is not a base you can hold on to. That is not a number you can recover from. That is a free fall. So here is where we land. Trump is politically isolated in a way that is almost unprecedented. He is the president, he has the power, he has the executive branch, and his own party is ready to remove him. His base is abandoning him. The courts are hammering him. The DOJ is in chaos. He is surrounded by people who are either incompetent or about to get arrested. And there is no mechanism in place to stop what is coming. The Senate votes for conviction. Trump gets removed. Vance becomes president. And the GOP pivots to trying to save the midterms without the weight of Trump dragging them down into defeat. Is it cold? Yes. Is it brutal? Absolutely. Is it something we have never really seen before in American politics? Definitely. But that is where we are right now. The Republican Party has decided that Trump is more of a liability than an asset. And once that calculation is made, once that decision gets made at the leadership level, it is over. There is no coming back from it. There is no political move that saves you. There is no tweet, no post, no rally, no executive order that changes the math. The votes are there, the motion is in place, the train is moving, and Trump cannot stop it. Think about the speed of this too. We are talking about a shift that happened in a matter of weeks, not years, not months, weeks. One moment, Trump is on top of the world. The next, Senate Republicans are meeting about how to get rid of him. That is the pace at which political calculations can shift when the numbers are bad enough. And the numbers are bad. Approval at 36%. GOP unfavorables at 60%. 20% of your own voters bailing out. Those are not numbers you recover from. Those are numbers that force action. This is the GOP crackup. This is what happens when a party realizes it made a mistake and tries to course correct by throwing the guy under the bus. It is messy, it is ugly, it is brutal, but it is happening. And we are about to watch it play out over the next couple of weeks as the Senate moves toward a conviction vote that might actually succeed, that might actually remove a president from office for only the second time in American history. Wild, right? Stay tuned.